So, this is lesson 2, what makes a good rule or law. So, what is a good law or rule, and some criteria you should follow. So, what makes a good rule or law is that you have to be fair and equal amongst all citizens. So, for example, men and women deserve equal pay. That's a fair and equal rule. Another thing is that it should make society run smoother. So, for example, driving and traffic laws are enforced and put into place to make the driving experience for us much safer and a much smoother process. Also, the rule should support the interests of everybody and not just a particular group. So a law or rule should not be put into place just to benefit the wealthy or just to benefit the poor. It should be put in place to benefit both equally. And that the majority of the population will follow the laws, and the cops are able to catch anybody who breaks them and enforce the laws. And the law should be attainable. So pretty much, for example, if you make a rule for your child that if he gets any D's on his report card, his phone will be taken away, versus if you tell him his phone will be taken away unless he gets all A's, one is obviously more attainable than the other and still gets the point across. What makes a bad rule or law is a law that bridges any citizen privileges or immunities, any constitutional rights, things like that. Any rule that deprives any person of life, liberty, or property, or freedom, another constitutional amendment, has no logical reasoning, doesn't successfully address a problem or increase a problem, and is no longer relevant. Pretty much, for example, if you make a rule to your 13-year-old child that his curfew is 9 o'clock, obviously that rule is not going to stay the same when that child is 16 or 18. He's obviously going to have a later curfew. So rules can change and bend and all the time. So, and then here's just some examples of some what I think personally are good and bad laws. A lot of things can be debatable, but it's pretty obvious what are some good and beneficial laws and what are not so good and beneficial.